Hello, this is David Crowell, and I'm with Mortgage Network, and this is Money Matters. In this segment of Money Matters, I'm going to address the second and third in a long list of financial challenges that if you don't directly have those financial challenges yourself, you know somebody who does. So these are the sorts of financial scenarios, the financial challenges that I see in the mortgage banking business, and the sort of challenges that we need to come up with solutions for on a daily, weekly basis. So let's go to the very oldest of our population. Let's go to somebody who is 80 years old, and they are in good health, they're perfectly fit, do not anticipate needing assisted living of any kind for another 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years, hopefully for a good long time. And they have a home, $400,000 home in, let's make it a $450,000 home, small home in Hilton Head Plantation. They're 80 years old. The home is paid for, or almost paid for. The bulk of what their net worth, the bulk of what they have in the world is the home. Okay? Now, let's paint the picture a little bit more broadly. These same folks are married, both in fine health, both 80 years old, both have Social Security. His Social Security is approximately $1,900. Her Social Security, approximately $1,100, for a total of $3,000 a month. They both get very small pensions, $400, $500, $600 a month. Let's add them together and call it another $1,000 a month. That's $4,000 of income. They have two small pensions. They have 2 Social Securities. That's $4,000 a month, and the house largely paid for. They have very little in investment accounts. Their savings accounts have gradually been depleted. Their investment accounts never were very big to begin with, and those have gradually been depleted. So basically, 20 years ago, they came down to Hilton Head, sold the house up north, largely paid for it with equity that they brought with them, and then have paid off the mortgage over the last 20 years. They would like additional income, and the issue is a fairly pressing one, because if one of them predeceases, one of the Social Securities and one of the pensions is going to go away. I'm making that part of my assumption here. So if she predeceases him, he's going to be living on about $2,200 a month. If he predeceases her, she's going to be living on approximately the same amount, because she gets his Social Security if he dies. That's not going to be enough. So they're both in great shape, but now is the time to do a little bit of financial planning, a little bit of kind of looking to the future and planning now before it's needed. What we would do in this situation is we would get them from their $450,000 Hilton Head Plantation home, we would get them a mortgage of $300,000. Now, how could you get a $300,000 mortgage for an 80-year-old person? Sounds ridiculous there. It's a 30-year mortgage. Do we really expect them to live to 110 years old? No. But remember from previous shows and from previous talks that I've given that mortgage securities are blind as to age. If you're 18 years old or you're 90 years old, you're the same person with regard to a mortgage security. No difference. So we're going to get them a $300,000 mortgage. That $300,000 mortgage is going to cost them about $1,600 a month. $1,600 a month. That's a bill they don't currently have. $300,000, $1,600 a month. However, that $300,000 is going to, which is going to cost them $1,600 a month, that $300,000 is going to be invested and then given back to them at the rate of $2,500 a month for the rest of their days. At $2,500 a month, that $300,000 will come back to them for the next 12 years or until they are 92 years old. In all likelihood, that at the end of that period, they will have moved to assisted living or to their children's house or wherever. At $2,500 a month, their income is greatly enhanced to give them an additional $1,000 of income, which in turn will allow one or the other to continue to live in the house should one predecease the other. In any case, even if that doesn't occur when the house is sold, there's still no debt. There's still $100,000, $150,000 of equity that comes out as cash, and there's still the $2,500 a month that comes as continuing income. There are endless variations on that theme. The way to think about it, and the problem-solving technique that's being used here, is to look at somebody's global finances. Look at their finances as a whole. Don't just look at, I get my Social Security check, or I get my pension check, or I have $13,000 in my savings account, or $2,000 in my checking account. We look at it all together. Very frequently, very frequently, in more than half of all in the case of more than half of all Americans, the bulk of the person's net worth, net financial worth, is in the house that they've lived in for 15, 20, 30, 40 years. By net worth, we mean, again, think conceptually, we mean the pile of money that's on the floor if you sell everything. If you absolutely sell everything and pay off every debt, so you sell every single asset, house, car, stamp collection, everything, it gets sold, take the money, pay off every single debt, what's left? That's your net worth. And if your net worth is $300,000, then more than 50% of the time in the United States, almost all of that $300,000 is money that's sitting inside the house as value in the house. So the big concept here in terms of the how to think of it is as the financial joystick, treated almost like a computer game. The financial joystick is to look at somebody's total financing and say, okay, where is most of the value, and therefore how can we manipulate that value to give that person a better life with the same degree of safety and security that they presently have. And often, for somebody who is of age, 75 years, 70, 75 years old or older, often the way to do it is to take money out of the house, contrary to what you would expect, take money out of the house, safely put it into an investment, and then run it back to them as a form of income. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope this kind of causes the brain waves to spin around a little bit. This is David Crowell from Mortgage Network, the #1 mortgage provider in the Low Country, and I'm finishing this segment of Money Matters.